here's the video review for Transformers Combiner Wars Deluxe Brawl. And you can see he's a tank. He's the only new mold in the Combaticons set. The Combaticons are one new mold, two remolds, and a couple of just repaints. So Brawl's the only new mold here, so I figured we'll tackle him right off the bat. You can see he's got his little foot gun piece with the new little design on it. It plugs in right here on the top of the tank. And it's actually a little peg here that if you don't have it on here, this peg folds away. If you don't want to use it, and you can just plug it in upside down, but I do think it looks better with the peg flipped up and sitting on it like an extra turret. But it's entirely up to you how you want to do it. But that's the standard hand-foot piece for the combiner mode. Doesn't want to come out here. Yeah, whatever. He's going to be a foot anyway, so I'm not going to worry about it. You know how these work by now. So here he is in tank mode. You can kind of raise his gun up and down a little bit, just due to how it plugs in. But the turret does not rotate. He's pretty much an inarticulate chunk. He does have some wheels on the bottom. The treads don't move, but the wheels kind of roll. This one's getting stuck. It must be caught on something. But yeah, there's a little piece of flash on it that's catching. But not a big deal. But so you can roll a little bit in tank mode. Now to turn him into foot mode is really pretty simple. You just take these back pieces, lift them up, bring them up around here. You can see that flips that post down, and then flip up his combiner port. Boom, you plug this into the bottom, and boom, he's a foot. We'll see more of that in the Onslaught review. So yeah, we'll get him back in his tank mode. And to turn him into a robot, you bring his legs up, and the arms up like this, and the legs are on a piece down here. You can see there's a couple tabs up here and some grooves in the gray piece. You just pull this out, up and around. It's a move you're familiar with doing if you've played with any of these Combiner Wars pieces. A lot of them have those collapsing legs. So you bring those in like that. And same over here, make sure those little tabs fit in those grooves there. His waist comes down and rotate it around to the front here, and then back around like this. And then this little tab right here is supposed to clip in here. Now I don't know if they've added anything. There's a very teensy ridge in there to catch this, and I've seen a lot of complaints of this thing flopping. And my mind, when I push it in, there's a little bit of friction. I can kind of, like two rough things rubbing together. It doesn't really clip into place, but I do feel a little bit of friction there, and like my waist seems to hold better than some of the earlier ones I've seen where he was just flopping apart. Like I wouldn't shake him like super hard, but you can see like he's actually staying together. It's not a whole lot of friction, but it's just enough to keep him from just flopping backwards. It would have been better, I think, if this lip on this piece came out just a little further to grab onto this a little better, but it does. I don't know if they changed something with the mold or if I just got lucky, but there is just enough friction there to keep him from flopping all over the place, which is nice. Like I said, I do not know if that's any kind of running change or whatever, but it's a very small amount of friction, but it is enough to hold him in place. Anyway, so the arms come down, bring his elbows forward. As you can see, it doesn't take much effort. Just if the arm catches on here, it's enough to unhinge that. But he's not just going to flop over unattended, which is nice. And you bring this down and collapse the turret. The turret can come up. I'm not sure why the turret comes up. Does that come up for leg mode? No, I wouldn't think so. But anyway, lock them back together here. And there's Brawl in robot mode. And again, waist is okay. It doesn't take much to dislodge it, but it does stay in place. You can leave him like this with the turret sticking up above his head. But the turret does unpeg like that. You can see there's the post, and he can hold that as a gun. So you can see it clips in with these pieces right here, which is what allows it to lift up and down. It's kind of friction hinged with a couple little nubs inside here that attach to the gun. And then you just plug it into his hand and give it to him as a handgun. If you want, you can plug it into the side of his arm here. Give him an arm cannon, kind of like Megatron, however you want to do it. And articulation-wise, he's got ball joint hips here, swivels, hinge knees. The feet kind of have a little bit of tilt to them, so you can get a little bit of a wider stance, but not significant. He's got double hinge shoulders. They rotate this way and they hinge this way. You can lift them up a little bit too, as well as you want. You can give him a little higher shoulders. His elbows, he's just got this ball joint here. This little piece is mostly to allow the arm to collapse for transformation. So you can bring it back a little bit, but it doesn't really go any more further forward than that. So he's kind of got these little stumpy little forearms, but he does have kind of a nice bulky, I used to be a tank, like I do like his robot mode. And then his head swivels. It's not on a ball joint because of the way it transforms and folds up. It is a little visible sometimes in tank mode because it just kind of folds back like that. And if you turn his head around, it doesn't fold all the way down completely. I guess it kind of does, but the combiner port wants to make it pop up. So you can put it down for leg mode probably, but otherwise it's not going to fold up properly. Let's get it back out because there we go. I mean, it does have a waist swivel as well. And there's Brawl. He's kind of a brownish green. I would have liked him to be maybe a little bit. I would like for the green to be a little stronger in this mix. It's not a bad mix in general, but I do think he should have a little bit more green tint to him. For a new mold, like I said, if I'd had super waist issues where he just wouldn't stay up straight, I totally understand the complaints there. And like I said, as it is, it's a very tenuous connection, but at least on mine, it seems to be sturdy enough to hold him up. But like I said, it does not take much for that to completely come apart. So if you're transforming it, you'll bump it, but it will hold in place. At least on mine. I don't know if that's a QC thing. It's going to vary from figure to figure. I've seen several reviews where it just does not want to hold together. So your mileage may vary there. I did order these much later than some other people. I don't know if maybe they changed some minor thing on a wave, but like I said, if they did, it's very minor because it is just a hair of friction there that's holding them together. But anyway, there's Brawl.